When you hear the name William McCurdy in reference to Evansville, Indiana, you may think of the McCurdy Hotel. Well, the aging St. George Hotel on the existing site was raised in 1915 to build this grand hotel on the riverfront. It was named after Colonel William H. McCurdy, local industrialist and investor. The McCurdy opened for business on June 17, 1917. In its heyday, several prominent people stayed at the McCurdy, including Katharine Hepburn and Clark Gable. Today, we are not honoring a hotel, but a man who founded a buggy plant that was the seed from which would grow Evansville's biggest industries. William McCurdy was born on May 28, 1853 in Center Township, Pennsylvania, to Joseph and Sidney McCurdy, who owned a small farm. The family moved to St. Louis, Michigan in 1866. William was 13 years old. He was apprenticed to a millwright in Jackson, Michigan, and after training for 4 years, he became a journeyman. He remained employed in the trade until 1875. At the age of 22, a thirst for adventure led him on a cross-country journey as a traveling salesman. 4 years later, in 1879, he arrived in Independence, Missouri, to try his hand as a real estate agent and insurance salesman. A year later, he married Helen E. Hess, who was from Cincinnati, Ohio. They had 4 children, 3 girls and a boy. 9 years later, in 1889, the family left Independence to live in Cincinnati, Ohio, where William became the secretary of the Favorite Carriage Company. While in Cincinnati, McCurdy met and became friends with Julius Rosenwald, who was a part owner of Sears and Company. The Rosenwald financed McCurdy to open his own buggy company called the Brighton Buggy Company. The company quickly found success because they were the main supplier of farm wagons and buggies to Sears stores in the Midwest. But the company could not keep up with the demand from the Sears account. McCurdy began looking for the perfect place for his growing company. He was attracted to Evansville because of several reasons. He was buying most of his materials from Evansville, and it had a pool of labor skilled in woodworking. It was the home of Southern Railway and located on the Ohio River, which gave them easy access to barges. These transportation modes made it easy to ship and receive materials. The Evansville of 1902 was a sprawling, brawling town of 63,000. It was the undisputed capital of the furniture manufacturing industry, with companies like Bossy, Crescent, and Cargus. William McCurdy bought the property at the junction of Morton Avenue with the Southern Railroad, where he built his new plant. With the opening of the new company in 1902, it was renamed the Hercules Buggy Company. The new factory was 3 stories tall and more than 32,000 square feet, making it one of the largest in the country at that time. McCurdy started buggy production in December 1903. Rosenwald, now vice president of Sears, foresaw the popularity of the horseless carriage in 1905 and convinced McCurdy to create a separate firm to build bodies for them, and in 1906 he created the Hercules Body Company. In 1912, McCurdy was again approached by Sears to build an engine company in Evansville to supply Sears with the engines they needed. Consequently, the Hercules Gas Engine Company was formed on November 8th of 1912. In 1915, McCurdy manufactured a slip-on truck body for Fords developed by Sears. The U.S. Post Office gave McCurdy a contract for mail truck bodies. In 1920, the Hercules companies produced more than 84,000 buggies, 62,000 gasoline engines, and 40,000 truck and auto bodies. In 1916, McCurdy was named by President Woodrow Wilson to the American Defense Society. He was conferred to the commission of colonel in the Indiana Reserve by Governor James P. Goodrich, and from that point on, he was known as Colonel McCurdy. In 1925, amid rumors of health issues, the colonel announced the sale of controlling interest in Hercules to the newly found Serval Manufacturing Company. Serval went on to manufacture home refrigerators and was hugely successful. During World War II, they became a subcontractor for Republic Aviation's Thunderbolt, a single-engine fighter plane made in Evansville. McCurdy loved golf, and he always played with the same foursome: Charles Harkness, John Iglehart, and Samuel Orr. Colonel William H. McCurdy passed away at the age of 77 on June 15, 1930, leaving a legacy. In 1957, the Hercules Body Factory was purchased by George Caddick, who moved it to Henderson, Kentucky. Today, his son Jeffrey Caddick continues to manufacture dry body trucks as well as adding refrigerated trucks. The Colonel was an iconic industrialist. His companies brought more than 30,000 jobs to the area and helped breathe new life into Evansville. He was a man keenly interested in his community. He gave generously during his lifetime, and upon his death, he gave 75% of his wealth to local nonprofits and charities. He became the biggest single philanthropist in Evansville history. Today, we give back by inducting Colonel William H. McCurdy into the Junior Achievement of Southwestern Indiana Hall of Fame.